This is the level of discipline that changed everything. There's a kind of discipline that doesn't just impress people, it unsettles them. A consistency so sharp it feels unnatural. You've seen it before. The person who keeps going when everyone else burns out, who never skips the ritual, who seems wired differently. Most call it obsession, but the truth is simpler and far more terrifying. Because it's not talent, it's a system, an ancient one, born in Zen temples, refined over centuries, designed to create unbreakable consistency. The monks call it gyoji, practice without gaps. And once you understand it, you'll never see discipline the same way again. Chapter 1. The Breaking Point. Elias, 32, was a software engineer with everything going right on paper and everything wrong in private. He could start anything, gym plans, journaling, meditation, but finishing, never. It always began with fire. Day 1, total dedication. By day 3, excuses crept in. By Friday, surrender. By Sunday, guilt. Another Monday, another restart. He downloaded habit trackers, read every self-improvement book, joined accountability groups. None of it stuck, because he wasn't fighting laziness. He was fighting his brain's architecture. It all changed after one late night online, when he stumbled on an article about Zen monks who've meditated every day for 800 years. No breaks, no exceptions. He expected to read about impossible willpower. Instead, he discovered something colder and infinitely more powerful. Chapter 2. The Monastic Secret. In Zen monasteries, time doesn't ask for your opinion. Every morning since the 13th century, a bell rings at 3:30 a.m., and the monks rise. Not early, not late. Always. They don't wake up wondering, should I do it today? The question simply doesn't exist. Because what they practice isn't willpower, it's identity. Your mind divides everything into reversible or irreversible commitments. Maybe goals live in the reversible box. They're open to negotiation. Irreversible ones, they simply happen. When a monk takes his vows, he's not promising to meditate, he becomes a meditator. His community witnesses his transformation. From that moment on, quitting would mean betraying who he is. Scientists at Harvard found that when we make public commitments, the primitive brain treats failure as a survival threat. Lose credibility, lose belonging, lose safety. Elias grasped that instantly, so he made his own vow in writing. I am a person who meditates at 5 a.m. every day for 90 days. He signed it, posted it online, and told everyone he knew. His girlfriend laughed. Perfect. Every doubter became a mirror reflecting his previous failures. The fear of disappointing them became greater than the pain of effort. Chapter 3. The Internal War. But even public vows didn't silence the inner resistance. At 5 a.m., the old voice always whispered, "You're tired. Skip today." His body didn't care about promises. It cared about comfort. That's when he learned the monk's second law, sacred hours. You must do it at the same time every day, no exceptions. Not because you're a morning person, because consistency isn't about optimization. It's about removing choice. Every "when should I" costs mental energy that should be used for doing. So Elias picked 5 a.m., not because it was ideal, but because the world was silent. No messages, no distractions, no exit routes. The first week was agony. The second, his body adapted. By week 2, he woke up minutes before the alarm. There was no thinking left to do, just movement. Consistency, he realized, wasn't about motivation. It was about creating a rule your body eventually obeys without permission. Still, one loophole remained. He kept modifying the content of his morning ritual. Some days exercise, others reading, sometimes meditation. His brain had found a new battlefield. He had defeated when, but not what. Chapter 4. The One Path. Variety feels exciting. It's also the fastest route to chaos. Every option creates micro-decisions, and decisions drain resolve. The monks had a cure for that too. Forms. The exact same sequence every single day, until the brain surrenders. So Elias locked his ritual. 20 push-ups, 10 minutes meditation, 10 minutes reading. Same order, same timer. Every day. His girlfriend called it robotic. Friends joked about his monk phase. Perfect. Because discipline sometimes looks like monotony, and that's the point. The third week tested him. His brain rebelled. You're not a machine. Do something different. But repetition, like erosion, wears resistance down. By week 6, he found himself halfway through his push-ups before realizing he'd started. The ritual was running him. Neuroscience explains why. The basal ganglia, the brain's habit center, takes over routine behaviors after around 60 days of identical repetition. You stop deciding. You just do. Then came the test. Day 35 brought fever. Day 40, business trip. This was where he used to quit. I'll make it up tomorrow. But make-up days create gaps, and in Zen, gaps are death. Chapter 5. No gaps, ever. The all-or-nothing mindset kills more progress than laziness ever will. You tell yourself, if I can't do the full workout, I'll skip. That's not discipline. That's retreat, disguised as logic. A true practitioner moves like a river, sometimes a torrent, sometimes a trickle, but always moving. So at 4 a.m., airport bathroom, Elias drops to the floor. Push-ups. People stare. He smiles. Meditation in the Uber. Reading on the plane. Imperfect, yes. Interrupted, never. That's gyoji. Practice that carries itself. People began noticing changes he couldn't explain. His colleagues said he looked sharper. Friends said he was too serious now. One even said, that level of commitment isn't healthy. And that's when he knew he'd crossed into rare air, where ordinary effort ends and real identity begins. Chapter 6. Pre-decided. There was still one hidden trap. Unexpected chaos. The days you can't predict. A sick child, flat tire, work emergency. These moments destroy consistency because you're forced to decide under stress, and stressed brains choose comfort every time. Monasteries have lasted through wars and earthquakes without missing morning meditation. Why? They don't debate solutions in crisis. They've already decided. Bell rings. They adjust. Elias copied that rule. He listed every obstacle that had ever broken his streak and built responses. No gym? Push-ups in the garage. Guests over. Silent workout in the bathroom. Late night. 1 push-up, 1 minute meditation, 1 page reading. Enough to keep the current flowing. No questions, no negotiations, just execution. Psychologists call this implementation intention. A pre-chosen response protects willpower because the decision is already made. Within 70 days, Elias didn't even recall making choices anymore. The body had memorized the path. When his girlfriend's parents came to visit, he still woke at 5 a.m., quietly practicing in the bathroom. Not because he wanted to, but because the part of him that didn't had already died. Chapter 7. The Transformation. On day 90, the ritual ended. But he didn't stop, because now there was nothing to keep up. It was simply who he was. Friends said, "Your consistency is scary." He smiled. Good. Because when your discipline makes others uncomfortable, you've stepped beyond their limits, and maybe your own. What most people call extreme is simply what happens when identity replaces effort. You're not pushing through anymore. You've become someone who can't not do it. The gyoji approach, public vows, fixed time, repeatable form, no gaps, pre-decided responses, doesn't just build habits. It destroys the fragile self that needs motivation and replaces it with one that operates automatically. It's not self-improvement, it's self-replacement. You don't get better, you become different. That's why this level of discipline scares people. It reveals what they could be if they were willing to let part of themselves die. The inconsistent self, the negotiating self, the one full of tomorrows, gone, and the one that remains, unstoppable. Because real discipline isn't about pushing harder, it's about eliminating the version of you that still needs to try.